What's good, YouTube? Certainly the 2022 Megatins so far, and welcome to the house. The only reason I say so far is because we don't know if there's any short prints within the tins. They've been playing around with short printing products that previously hadn't had short prints recently, and we also don't know how many secret rares there are, thus causing the pull rates to shrink up. But I will say that I'll eat my words anytime I am wrong. I really thought that they would use Pot of Prosperity to sell Battles of Legend. Instead, here it is as a prismatic secret rare in the tins. While that is a rarity upgrade, it's probably the same pull rate as any other prismatic secret rare, considering multiple are already pulled early in these YugiTuber openings. YugiTuber openings don't always show a accurate pull rate, but we usually see a short print, right? Remember Cynet Mining not even being pulled out of the Dual Overload? I think that's the correct set, where they even gave at the EU office extra Dual Overload to open to try to hit it, and then they didn't, embarrassingly. Well, when it comes to Pot of Prosperity being in here and multiple duelists pulling it out of their sponsored openings, I don't think Konami's loading the product. They never have tampered with the product like that. So I'm pretty happy to see that, along with other reprints. And also the price is already coming down. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's going to be a $50 card. Look at the past-ins. Well, no reprint from any Megatin on the release has been over the $30-ish mark or in the 30s. The only two in history, Solemn Strike and Triple Tactics Talent, being the two that were reprinted that way. Yeah, they were up there above the MSRP of a product, actually indicating a pretty decent product because there are other chase pulls. Now, the two cards that have been that way are Crossout Designator and Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Why is that? They had no other printing beforehand. When it comes to reprints, there's already an existing card. So a bunch of product, a core set, has been opened, pulled, chased after this product. So when it comes to Pot of Prosperity, while people will want 3 of them, and they might be able to go up somewhat quickly, the tins are the most open product all year long. That healthy competition of people going in after these pulls, trying to make stacks of penny stonks while also selling off what they think will be, not in that range immediately to turn and burn and make a profit. Pot of Prosperity is going to be one of those cards that they'll definitely want to be selling early, in my opinion. And again, the secondary market price crashing so fast and so hard, knee-jerk reaction, tons of them selling in the 60s range. You really think the reprint, just because it's an upgrade, is going to end up being that? No, First Ed Original is still usually preferred, and then you have the Starlight also looming over. So that's the history of reprint cards in the tins. Let's get to the cards that are reprinted past that opening argument. We have Red Eyes, Black Dragon, and I don't think I've seen any of the special ones in English, like Dark Magician Girl, Red Eyes, Blue Eyes, so I do wonder what the pull rate there is. DPE as well, thanks to Ready for Duel for going to the YouTubes and getting these screen caps, and do go visit YouTubers who have put up their openings and done that work, but this is for the simplification of going through. Ultra Rare Bear Brum, Ready Fusion looks to be secret rare as well, if I'm not mistaken, and then we get the History Archive Collection original cards, which is kind of exciting, but going to be the pack filler-esque stuff within these tins. Depending on if they do get reprints throughout history, they could go up over time because they are classic to the anime. I would think that Battles of Legend, the anime set, would have been the place for them, but they are in here, and they are in the secret rare slot, a lot of them, thus taking away from the pull rates of the chase cards. That prismatic secret rare Ghost Ogre looks really nice, though. ZS Ascended Sage and Rudy Rose Dragon, I was going to say Blood D. It is also secret rare. We have Ultra Rare Stardust Synchron and also the Accelerator, I believe it's called. Then we have Branded in Red. We have Dimension Shifter, not in Secret Rare because they were already Prismatic Secrets promos in the tins. I think Dark Ruler No More is also not. But Crossout Designator Curveball is in here, which isn't the biggest one because it's $20-ish right now. But that's a card that snuck up to $60 once again as it saw a ton of competitive play. Branded opening looking very nice with its upgrade as well. Then we have a Small World and Ghost Bell in here as Prismatic Secret. You do have Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. You have Aluber, and Aluber's kind of nice, even though it was cheap thanks to the reprint and goes from the past to maybe a better quality control one. I haven't seen too many quality control issues within these openings so far. Then you have the Flunder Map in Secret, Link into the Vrains, which is the History Collection card. There she is. Ecclesia's in here and not saved for Mavens alongside Mo Yi. You have the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Dragon, you have Ash Blossom in that Prisma Secret Rare, you have World Premiere cards, which we'll read in a bit, Nibiru also in Ultra Rare, I believe it Ultra over in the Brothers of Legend, it might have been Secret, and then you do have that nice confirmation on Pot of Prosperity, which multiple tubers pulled. I believe Underworld Goddess is there also. You have the Evil Live Twin Link 4. You have Ghost Mourner. Is that Ultra or Secret? I actually can't tell. I believe that's Lithium's opening. Yes, it is. And then you do have the DRNM. You have the Lightning Storm Prismatic, the Forbidden Droplet Prismatic Secret, and Kit, I think, is a very nice upgrade. Whenever it comes to upgrades, you're going to have a lot of people disappointed every single 10 that this card was wasted potential in the Super or Ultra slot, or this card didn't make it, but this is a pretty darn good one for Lord the card. And also, Lord of the Heavenly Prison is not missing. It is there as well. So, again, kind of a kitchen sink situation outside of Moyi, ending up in another product and already being confirmed for it. I think that these 10s, again, are probably the second best 10s of all time. And if they actually had the promos, could have dethroned the Gold Sark 10. I've seen takes all over Twitter that this is pretty trash and it's not going to be good and that it's going to flop. I want to point out a couple things. First off, pre-sales are still up. Code What's Good 5 for 5% off and to support the channel directly does, I have an incentive to sell 10s. So I'm not going to ever put my sponsors before my audience. My audience pays me. I only get a cut when my code is used. That means you pay me, not my sponsors. And with this, looking at the past few years of 10s, it beats them by a mile. While it doesn't have an original card to it that's going to be way up there, it has a lot of different original cards to it that go to the anime, as well as casual bait and the Dark Magician Girl, the Blue Eyes, the Red Eyes. We'll see the ratios on those, and honestly, it's better if those kind of cards that already have a history in the game are the short prints. If those are the short prints, I am super happy. I've been waiting for Konami to take that kind of model with short printing for a long time. But look at these. Versus the value inside, obviously, it doesn't hit up to being worth $600 a case or $60 10s, but Red Eyes Dark Dragoon being ripped open after so much, while so many of the 10s will exist, and there was even, if I recall, a small unlimited wave in the EU. That might have just been the Gold Sark 10s. Let me know in the comment section down below. But when it comes to it, even with those unlimited waves, these 10s, they're over $60, yet they don't punch the value versus being worth opening. Is because of memories and also not much of the product being existed because it was worth opening. I think a ton of people are going to be ripping open the 2022 10s. Also, do recall the MSRP was up to $22 a 10, making this an even better deal this late in the game. I think that it's worth it to get sealed, to keep sealed, and if you're after the singles, go for the singles. I'm not a financial advisor channel. I don't know the future product if Konami's down to do another unlimited wave of 10s. They haven't done an unlimited product in a little bit, and it's very interesting how the 10s versus the past ones just seem to give so much more value thanks to the other reprints inside, but we still have to see pull rates. So if you want to wait for those, a lot of the deals are going to be disappearing. Also, the new cards for the Egyptian guards, they have a lot of hype going into them. The revived Sky God that reads, the activation of this card or effects cannot be negated, nor can its effects be negated. Special summon a Slifer, the Sky Dragon from your graveyard, then each player draws until they have 6 cards in hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard, place 1 monster reborn from your deck or graveyard on top of your deck, then if a Divine Beast monster is in your graveyard, draw 1 card. You can only use 1 effect of the revived Sky God once per turn. Guess what that means? If you went first, you set a bunch of stuff, you get rid of your hand advantage, they draw to 6. You slap this out, the activation of this card or effects cannot be negated to like, this is pretty darn crazy depending. And then you also have the Breaking Ruin God. It reads, the activation of this card or its effects cannot be negated either, nor can its effects, Special summon 1 Obelisk the Tormentor from your hand or graveyard, and if you do, it's unaffected by opponent's card effects this turn. If you tribute 2 or more monsters you control at the same time to activate your card or effect while you control Obelisk the Tormentor, you can banish this card from your graveyard, banish all monsters in your opponent's graveyard, and inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each. You can only use the effect once per turn. Alter Wincon's kinda good. Then the True Sun God reads, when this card is activated, add the 1 Winged Dragon of Ra or 1 card that mentions it from your deck to your hand, except the True Sun God. Monsters except the Winged Dragon of Ra cannot attack the turn they are special summoned. Once per turn, that's for both players, by the way. Once per turn, during your main phase, you can send this card from the the field, or 1 the Winged Dragon of Ra Immortal Phoenix from your deck to the graveyard, then send a Winged Dragon of Ra from your monster zone to the graveyard. You can only activate 1 True Sun God per turn. I think the other 2 are obviously a bit more exciting, but that Rhoda-like effect stacks on to the Winged Dragon of Ra deck, which got more support from the Merrick dual spec. All points aside, let me wrap this up. This has really decent casual bait. On top of it, it has really good competitive makings and something for the meta players as well. When we look at products, it has all 3 things going for it. It will help in the budget department to a degree. It's not going to, make everything super, super cheap. But with how much the tins are open and how much competition ramps up, yes, people are going to want a money card out of there. Pot of Prosperity is probably it. But with the competition, I think it will stay in the 30s, especially seeing the initial knee-jerk market reaction of people fire selling them in the 60s for the first OGs, right? And a history of reprints shows that nothing has been above the 30s so far. While we're in a new market and up to MSRP, and we'll see how the ratios turn out, people seem to be pulling it just fine, and there's a lot of competition for value between the hand traps, between, having Nobleman of Crossout, Dark Dragoon, all these. Whenever you look at a product, it goes up depending on how much good value's in there, and I think the product will be rising before the singles with how sales may go. So think about that approach when you're looking at the Megatins. Thanks for watching today's video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation. There's more polls out there. Go watch other Yu-Gi-Tubers openings, and have a nice day. I think this is a pretty darn good one.